Today, I'm gonna walk you through my hair process. We're going to take out extensions, do a money piece, root smudge, tone the ends, put new extensions in, and cut my hair. Also, we're gonna color my eyebrows. So here's what my hair looks like right now. Okay, I've got 3 extensions just in the front on the sides here. So we're gonna start with a money piece, which is just a blonde little portion right here of the bang. I'm gonna do a really small one. For the lightener, I'm going to use clay lightener by Pulp Riot. This is a thicker lightener. You don't have to use foils with it. It doesn't fly everywhere. It's really good for balayage. And we're pairing it with 20 volume. And I'm going to mix up just a little bit. And this is a no-no, but I'm actually not going to use a scale because I want this to be fairly thicker than it already is. So it'll look like royal icing and it shouldn't fly off the brush. I want this to look really natural, so I'm just gonna do a very small triangle. That's enough. That will just help brighten my face, just a little triangle. Okay, and I'm gonna use the board and paint this, but I'm gonna leave the ends out. I'm gonna cut them off anyway, but we're gonna leave those out. And this should lift super fast because this is new growth. There's no color on this. Then I'll replace this with paper since it is on my face. And I am going to do a root smudge, but since I'm gonna take out my extensions while this processes, I'll take conditioner and put it right here in case that accidentally moves around while I'm working. So this will just create a barrier so I don't lighten that. To take these out, and they are really old, this remover works really well. It's one of my favorites. The Hair Shop, you can get it on Amazon. All you do, you take a wire rat tail comb and you create a little pocket. Dance it around and you apply the product, and it's super liquidy inside that pocket. And then you dance it around again, and then it should just slide through the extension without you having to tug or tug very hard. And then there they go. And then we'll comb through this to make sure there's no glue, and a little bit of hair is gonna come out because it hasn't been able to naturally shed, it's been trapped. The older your extensions are, the easier they're gonna be to remove because the oils from your scalp are help loosening them up. For example, mine are coming out fairly easy because they're so old. But if yours are fairly new and you want to take them out, you can just leave the product on longer. There's a little glue right there. I just want to make sure I can get a brush through it without it snagging, get all those glue bonds out. We're just checking on that. That's almost done. So I'm going to go through and remove all these extensions. I've got 1 more left here and 3 on this side, and then I'll shampoo my hair. I'm going to apply the color on towel dried hair today. We're using, what are we using? Honestly, we're just using what I have left, but we will be using Shades EQ. Here it is after I've taken out all the extensions. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it out. There is a little band of darker, but I'm gonna tone it also right here. I'll probably tone this with an 8. So we'll go ahead and shampoo this. I'm just gonna section this off kind of in 4 sections. So I'm gonna start with a root smudge, which is usually just a darker color that will fade into a lighter color. I want it to match my natural hair color as much as possible. So I'm going to use a 5G, which is a caramel gold-ish color, more on the warm side, and a 6N, which is level 6 neutral. So these together, it's gonna create a 5.5 that's more of a warm color. Honestly, it's not going to look much different from my hair at all. The processing solution, I'm using the gloss to gel. Equal parts, this just makes the formula a little bit thicker, and I'm using the side of the bowl to measure. And see, this is a little bit on the thicker side compared to if you just mixed it with a regular processing solution. So this is pretty simple. There's a hair. Stay away from the blonde and do this. And it spreads really well because my hair is wet. I like to use a demi-permanent hair color because it gradually fades out. Permanent color works well if you're trying to cover gray, but it will make a line of demarcation. So as your hair grows out, there's going to be a line. With demi-permanent hair color, it slowly transitions out. Super thin subsections, make sure you're getting the front and the back, only covering the dark part. So demi-permanent is for a more natural look. It will do gray blending, not necessarily gray coverage. I do have grays, but I honestly don't mind them. I'm not concerned about covering them or hiding them. Now, if you were doing a root smudge with a permanent color, you would want to be more mindful of kind of feathering this out at the end. I'll show you how to blend it into the toner once we get there. But because this is a demi-permanent hair color and it's on wet hair or towel dried hair, it's going to blend when I brush it with the actual brush. So we just go through and do the whole head. I've got it applied all over, and I'm gonna take the wide part of the comb and just brush it. We're not really blending it yet. I'm just doing a mild brush so it doesn't create a line like that. I want it to be a soft grass-like line. I'm just gonna wrap this up so it doesn't touch the dark. Take this off my eyebrows. My eyebrows are tattooed on, but they are clear, the actual hair. Taking a little mascara wand and just going over the hair. Back and forth. They're super long too. They need to be cut. Normally I would do this with a permanent hair color because it's thicker, and this fades really quickly because we wash our face so often, but this will be fine. And a lot of my, or maybe that's gray. Maybe that's not clear. Maybe they're gray now. Whatever. So this may not actually work. Now we're gonna go through and apply the toner. Normally I use 8VB. This one either in Redken or I use Pravana, the permanent color with 10 volume on towel dried hair for 15 minutes. But today I'm going to mix, so I'll use this, and I'm also going to mix it with a 10T and a little bit of 9P. So 8VB is obviously violet blue to cancel out orange yellows. Titanium is a platinum. I'm gonna use the most of this to lighten up that tone. I don't want it to be that dark 8. And 9P is an opal, more blue. We'll just do a little bit of that. Again, the gloss to gel. And the goal is just to apply this as quick as possible. I'm gonna use a wider brush. So with the toner, just slap this on, cover this up again. Just taking thin sections, thinner, it doesn't have to be super thin because the hair is towel dried. And it's okay if the toner overlaps the dark. It won't change that color. In fact, we want to melt these together. Okay, and the toner will process fast because the ends of my hair are porous. It probably only needs like 5 to 10 minutes so it doesn't turn too violet. So once I get the toner on, we're taking the wide tooth part of the comb and we're dragging this down, brushing it through. So you're taking the darker part, running it through. I know that seems scary, like isn't that going to blend all the way down? And it shouldn't, as long as you didn't oversaturate it too much. Obviously, the more you brush it, the more you're running it down. But the goal is for this to blend, to look like it didn't just color my hair. So I'm gonna go through and do that all over. Apply the toner, rubbing it through with my hands, and taking it and blending it dark color to light. I want it to be more blended in the back, so I'm gonna take the fine tooth part of the comb, because there's not as many highlights there. It's mostly dark hair. So that will look better that way. Now this hair color you don't have to shampoo out, but I actually am going to shampoo it out because I am going to be installing extensions on the sides. So I want the hair to be super clean so they can stick better. And the back, I forgot to mention how you do the back. Honestly, I just do it by feeling. You can use 2 mirrors, one in the front, one in the back. But there's really not a lot going on in the back of my hair, which I forgot to show you the back, I'm sorry, but it's mainly just my natural hair color. And the more you brush it, the more you're blending it, so just keep that in mind. I want it to blend pretty heavily. Let's check and see how this looks. Oh nice, look. That already looks much better. Before we cut it, I'm gonna put this oil on the ends. It will help the shears go through the hair a little bit better. A little bit goes a long way, so 3 or 4 drops. Just on the ends, we're just gonna do a basic trim. I parted my hair where I always part it the middle, and I'll try to do this where you can see the best. So straight down the middle in the back. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm gonna cut this part in half. My hair is super thin, so I can cut the length in 2 sections. All of this from the back, I'm gonna swing forward, comb this, make sure there's no kinks, taking my crab claws and staying towards my chest. I'm not over directing out, that changes the haircut. My fingers are weird, so ignore that. I'm gonna kind of tilt my fingers a little bit, angled, and I'm just cutting off just a little bit. So they're diagonal, I'm cutting diagonal. I missed a piece. And the reason for that is because you're over directing the hair. So when I swing this back, it will be pretty much a straight line. It may have a little bit of an angle or a curve, but as long as you don't over direct it too much, it'll be fine. Who is vacuuming? I'm gonna take down the next section, sorry about the noise, and cut against my shirt. Still at that angle. Now I'm going on to the other side, comb this down, and again, my hair is super thin, so if you have super thick hair, you'll have to do this in several sections. My fingers are angled, so it'll be long going to short, and I'm just kind of eyeballing, taking off about the same as I did on the other side. Bring this down and then just match the line. There's not going to be much. Okay, let me see who is what. Okay, she looks angry, better not. Now I'm going to take my bang area, or the fringe area, just taking a triangle section, something similar to that, and lose tension for this whole cut. I don't want it super tight. Splitting this in the middle, taking one section, moving it to the opposite side, and I'm going to point cut it. So hopefully you can see that, making an angle, so short to long, just using the tip of the shear. This kind of feathers it out. So when you release it, it's short to long. I'm going to match that on the other side, going backwards, so it'll be long to short. I'm just taking the tips off because I'm really trying to grow up my hair. So just getting that dead out. Now for my layers, so I'm not cutting any of this. This is my length. So I can literally, because my hair is so thin, do this. So all I did was comb this up, and I'm just elevating it down to C and point cutting this. Take the other side. This is my length. I don't want to cut into that. Taking this top section, moving it down so I can see, which I can't see much, and just point cut that. Then I'm going to go through and create, well, think of the head as a beach ball or a pizza. If you look at my head this way, the middle is here, and then it starts going into these triangular slices. Triangular slices, holding it up. And now if I were cutting at the salon, I would not bring this down. It's easier on my body, it feels better, but you start losing the shape. So I would cut it up here, but because I'm cutting it on myself, I have to be able to see. You have to think about where the hair falls. When I release this, I want it to be short to long. So I'm going to point cut this, and that's not the cleanest section, at an angle. So when I release it, short to long. Another beach ball slice, pulling it short to long. So I'm just going to cut it at an angle there. And that's just going to help create a little bit of movement here. Now I'm backwards, should be long to short. So I'm going to angle my fingers so I don't forget, long to short, but not cutting this. This is the length. I'm not carrying a guide or anything with my hair. I'm just using the previous haircut as a guide. And honestly, eyeballing it. And then at the back here, I'm just going to take this section, and I do need to see that straight up. Okay, these layers are uneven. This has a mountain peak. I need these to match up. So it's the same on both sides. Same thing, straight up. I don't know if you can see that, but this side is a little bit longer. That's going to help even that out. And then on my bang area, same thing, the right side is just a little bit longer. These are the extensions I'm going to use today. They're tape-ins, and normally you have to tone these, but these actually look okay, so I'm going to skip that part. But if you need to tone them, the best way to tone these, because they're not the best extensions, you're going to get maybe a month out of them, is to do a dip tone with a purple base shampoo. And I actually don't recommend this one. I like the one on Amazon called Bold Unique. But you would put purple shampoo in a bowl, and it can be a literal bowl, Tupperware bowl, warmish water, and you just dip them for about 2 to 3 minutes, depends. They tend to pick up the color or the shampoo really fast, and then you rinse them. So I usually wear extensions just in this part of my hair right now. It's a little bit thin. So the first one will be a diagonal subsection away from the ear. We need to plug up the flat iron. And sorry about the, what am I trying to say? Sound while I was doing my haircut. I didn't realize I didn't have the microphone on. Oops. So you'll need 2 pieces, this. And I'll link all this stuff below, by the way. Just remember, this is not the best quality. This is a sticker. So how this is gonna work is you'll take off the 2 stickers and pretend this is my hair inside, and this sticks on one side of your hair and this sticks on the other side of the hair, and then you heat it and seal it. So then we're gonna take a diagonal subsection, very thin, away from the hairline. So you have to think, how are we gonna wear our hair up? I wear my hair up often. A little bit off the scalp. You don't want it too close to the scalp because then it's going to cause breakage. Lay that down. This one marries directly on top, and it's just kind of by feeling it, heat it up with the flat iron, tap, 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 and then you're gonna mush it together, trying to get that glue entangled in your hair in a sense. I like to go over the little sides again, just to make sure they're sealed. I don't know, it is a little bright. I guess I should have toned it, but it's okay. And then I'm gonna match it to my hair. These are not forgiving, as in they show up every single line you make. So loose tension, and I'm just gonna lightly hack at this using literal hacking movements. For me, I want this to be a blunt line because it creates the illusion of more hair, or a weight line. And then I'm gonna place one right about here. The subsection is horizontal. Super thin piece of hair, hold this up. This goes on the bottom, lay it down. Can you see that? I drug a little bit too much hair. There we go. It's a little crooked, that's okay. We're not aiming for perfection here. Just have to make sure the top one is also crooked. There we go. And then melt it. Match this the best that I can. I just kind of let it hang and hack at it. So we can always take more off, but we can't add it back, or we can, but what a pain that would be. I think I'm good with just the two pieces. There is a little discoloration, so the next time I shampoo, I'm going to use a violet-based shampoo. Let me add a layer in here. And if we're being honest, I don't love the color of the money piece. Could be the lighting, but I think once I shampoo my hair with purple shampoo, it'll look better. But I do like the rest of the color. Took a lot of the brassiness out, added a little bit of depth and warmth, not too much different, honestly. And I could use a bigger chop. Some of the ends are still a little fried, but we're gonna mask that with oil. I'll finish this side later, but let me show you the back. Hopefully I'll have a nice rounded to it. Let me know. And this is a little weighted. I don't like to chop these extensions too much because after you shampoo them for the first time, the texture changes a little bit. So I'm not gonna do too much hacking here. I've got a weight line here in my real hair, the corner. These 4 corners hold weight, or the back 2 corners. There's the weight. So I'll chop that out. And that's it.